Ashley never answered the FaceTime call. Ashley's sister, Alexis, says she and her sister kept tabs on each other through the iPhone Find My iPhone feature. Around noon, a few hours after Ashley was last seen leaving home, they say her phone's last location appears at an apartment complex in Roseville. A man she used to date lives there.
We knew that he had been, trying to reach out to her, whether to get back with her, I don't know.
But by the time loved ones drove by, they say there was no sign of Ashley, the man, nor her vehicle.
Please hit the like button and subscribe.
Breaking tonight, an arrest has been made in the case of a missing Warren mother. Police and family confirming to Local 4 tonight, Ashley Elkins' ex-boyfriend is now in custody for her suspected murder.
Based upon that evidence that Ashley was murdered, they don't have her body at this time. They do have good leads on where her body is.
And it is the ex-boyfriend of Ashley Elkins, a mother of two, who is now behind bars for her murder.
We've been tracking this case from the very beginning, and it's a heartbreaking development no one wanted to hear. So let's quickly recap how we got to this point. Ashley was last seen leaving her home January 2nd. Since then, there has been no sign of her. Yesterday, police converged on the home of her ex-boyfriend. There, investigators say they found significant evidence. That same night, Ashley's car was found abandoned in the area of 13 Mile and Little Mac. And then tonight, family confirmed they have reason to believe Ashley was murdered. Our Jacqueline Francis was there as the family spoke to reporters tonight. Jacqueline, just a heartbreaking development.
KG, it really is. The family was called here to the Roseville Police Department tonight. That's where they were told that Ashley was killed. There is no body at this time, but the ex-boyfriend is behind bars. A mother in tears after being told her missing daughter, Ashley Elkins, was murdered.
What they indicated was there was substantial evidence collected at the home of the ex-boyfriend. They also indicated that based upon that evidence, that Ashley was murdered.
Ashley, a 30-year-old mom from Warren, was last seen Thursday, January 2nd. Her family reported her missing on Friday the 3rd. From the beginning, loved ones suspected the ex-boyfriend. Police searching his apartment for hours on Tuesday.
Y'all, please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Y'all gotta excuse me. I just came from the dentist, getting a feeling. My mom feel like it's way out here, okay? So listen, her mom said that he booked an appointment just to get to her 2 days before she went missing. He created several Facebook pages to stalk her. Now, that's definitely can't take rejection, okay? He's also a flight risk because he went AWOL in the military, okay? This was a planned act which should be premeditated, but they'll find a way to trick the system and to charge it some kind of way. But this should be premeditated,
They do have good leads on where her body is.
The ex-boyfriend was arrested Wednesday and is being held on related charges.
They had broken up in September. We know that Ashley didn't want anything to do with him. So, I can't get in the mind of a psychotic person, someone who would do something like this.
The family holding on to one another close, thinking of the two young boys Ashley leaves behind.
Monster out there that took a very beautiful young lady away from us. And if you heard the tears coming from and her children tonight, it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
Just so sad for this new development. Now, the ex-boyfriend, I should say, is said to be arraigned here in Roseville tomorrow morning. We'll be sure to follow it. Reporting live in Roseville, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Yeah, just heartbreaking. Okay, Jacqueline, we appreciate it.
Calling case number 25329FY, People versus DeAndre Booker.
Your Honor, Randall Kane appearing as arraignment attorney on behalf of DeAndre Booker. Mr. Booker, state your name for the court, please.
DeAndre Booker. And thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Steve Fox on behalf of the people.
All right, and Detective Lesbrance, can you please go to the table next to Mr. Kane? Mr. Booker, did you talk to Mr. Kane today?
Yes.
Did he go over your rights with you?
Yes.
Did you understand all of those rights?
Yes.
Do you have any questions regarding your rights?
No.
All right, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for purposes of arraignment. With regard to bond, we'll start with Mr. Kane.
Your Honor, Mr. Booker is 32 years old. He's in custody on this charge. He states he is not employed. He lives at the same address. He also states he's not on probation or parole. I recommend a reasonable bond in this matter.
All right, and Mr. Fox.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Obviously, we're here on a 4-year felony for lying to a peace officer on a violent crime investigation. This is, of course, as Your Honor is aware, involving Ms. Elkins. And the court is to consider MCR 6.106F and MCL 765.6, a number of factors. I'm going to hit on a few if you don't mind. The first is the protection of the public. The underlying matter, although not the charge specifically, but the underlying matter obviously involves a crime of violence, potentially. We are still seeking Ms. Elkins. The defendant, we suspect and believe, may know where she is. And a concern is her safety if, God forbid, the worst has not happened yet. So with respect to that, Judge, I believe that there is a risk to the public, specifically if she were still alive, and that's what we're all hoping for, of course. The other is the defendant's risk of non-appearance and the likelihood of conviction. Likelihood of conviction, Judge, the defendant made several material factual misstatements to Detective Lesbrance and recited those to the court during the course of the initial swear-to. The defendant was aware that we were investigating a missing persons report. He was aware that there was some belief of his involvement. He made misstatements about both his location as well as Ms. Elkins and how she may have left his vehicle, left his apartment complex, all of which we can demonstrate by objective evidence and video evidence to be false. So there's a high likelihood of conviction on these cases, on these matters. And then last and most importantly for the court's consideration, I think at this point, is the probability or improbability of returning for trial. We have a history that includes charges at least. We do not have the disposition, but we did recover DD-214 from his time in the U.S. Army. It looks like in 2016 he was charged with a couple of matters, including larceny of private property, and more importantly, fraudulent ID documents. And then in 2017, he was charged with desertion or the absence without leave, going AWOL from the Army. Ultimately, he was discharged less than honorably, although it was not a dishonorable discharge. He was discharged from the Army in a less than honorable means or manner. We know that after the conversations, before the conversations with Detective Lesbrance, but we believe after the underlying events of this case, he fled from Macomb County, went to Flint, where he was apprehended and brought back to Roseville. And we know that during that time, while he was in Flint, he accessed the internet to search for such things as fastest routes from Flint to Ohio, what to do on the run, is blood traceable, how to beat a polygraph, and deleting Google history. So, Judge, I think by his own words and search history, by his prior conduct, and by what is, frankly, at stake in this particular matter, he's of significant risk of flight. With that, I would request a significant bond. I'm asking for a $500,000 cash surety bond, no 10%, and that a steel cuff GPS tether be attached should he make that bond.
All right, Mr. King, anything further from you?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Detective Lesbrance, is there anything you wish to add?
No, ma'am. Not this time.
All right. As Mr. Fox indicated, there are many things the court has to look to with regard to setting bond and determining bond. This court looks most closely at the risk of harm to the public and the likelihood of the defendant's appearance in court. I will note for the record that this matter is currently charged as a 4-year felony. I will also note for the matter that while Mr. Fox did point out several instances from the defendant's time in the military with regard to any sort of matters that came up with regard to larceny or desertion, that there is no other criminal history presented. But that being said, the matter being investigated does involve a missing person, which is a very serious matter. And the court takes very seriously that the allegations being made are that the defendant is lying to a police officer regarding material facts about a missing person at this time. That gives the court great concern about the risk of harm to the public and the likelihood that the defendant will make sure that he appears in court for both this matter and any potential further charges that may be brought by the prosecution. At this time, the court is going to assess a bond in the amount of $250,000 cash surety, steel cuff tether prior to any release. The PCC date in this matter will be January 22nd, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. on Zoom in front of Judge Bodecker. The exam date will be January 29th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. in person in front of Judge Bodecker. I have referred the matter to the Office of the Public Defender for appointment of counsel at this time. If the defendant does retain counsel, that counsel can send in a substitution of attorney. Is there anything further from any party?
I apologize, Judge. Just one clear. You indicate steel cuff tether. That is with GPS, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further from the people, Judge.
Anything further, Mr. King? Okay. You guys are all set today. Have a good day.
Y'all, he unemployed but has an apartment. Who's paying for that? How do he pay for that? Anyway, y'all, listen. Y'all need to start testing these so-called men, okay? And rejection before you get deep into a relationship with them, okay? Because once you get into it and it ain't what you want, then your life is at stake. Yeah, your life is at stake. Listen, it's called self-assessment, okay? Y'all don't make fun of my mouth. I can barely talk. You ask certain questions, focus on emotional response and identifying them patterns, okay? You make sure you pay attention to the reaction of being criticized or getting negative feedback. How do they act in social situations with rejection, okay? Also, watch how deep they feel hurt, angry, and sad when they feel rejected. Some people are people pleasers, okay? Perfectionism, okay? But last and most important, the fear of being abandoned. Like I said, you guys, you women need to do a self-assessment on these men, okay? Pay attention. Pay attention in the beginning. You can't show up and he flip out. Rejection. You guys get in the comments and let me know what you think about this. Make sure you hit that like button, please. I cannot stress enough. Hit that like button. I need more subscribers. I'm trying to get my channel back monetized. Have a great day and don't allow anyone to steal your joy, okay?